Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And for those of you that are new here, I am Maya, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to today's video, I guess, too, right? Today I wanted to bring you a series, and a new series, I guess, that I haven't really seen around. Maybe in some form or fashion something out there is like this, but I decided to come up with the series up on my channel called I'm New To, and It's New at the Drugstore. If that makes sense, right? I typically don't buy a lot of drugstore products, and in the past I've had issues with reactions and things like that, or I just, like, how are you supposed to find your shade? You can't swatch things, you can't necessarily try them on like you could at a Sephora or even an Ulta, and most of the time drugstores don't offer samples. There's not really anybody there to help you or to really educate you on the products, except for yourself. Or trial and error, really. Recently, I've been using the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Foundation right here. I think this is about 10 bucks, and it's actually really, really nice, and I was pleasantly surprised. It didn't irritate my skin or anything. It's a perfect match, and I'm in the shade 128, so I figured I actually really like this, and it's hard to find. Not every product out there is going to be amazing, and if you said you love every single product from a single brand, you're lying. But there are some really good gems out there, some hidden gems I think that are really, really worth trying to find. And that is one of them. So I figured this entire video is not going to be completely drugstore. It's not focused on an entire drugstore look. But I figured since I'm new to drugstore, I could try to come up with a look with some of the new products that I've tried. I've never swatched them. I've never tried them other than to find my shade, or something that could be comparable to my shade. I picked up the new e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer right here. This was about $8, which is awesome, and I hear good things. And then I picked up the Maybelline Fit Me powder, and I got it in the shade Fair Clair, because I ran out of setting powder, and I didn't really want to get the Laura Mercier powder, and I just ran out of my Jeffree Star powder, and even though it's really affordable, there's not really a Morphe store near me to run over and snag it. So I was like, well, I want to try some other stuff, and I really was surprised by that. And going to the drugstore side in an Ulta, like, I picked up Kiss Lash Glue, which is not super drugstore, like, it's not dirt cheap, but it's, I think, about $5-6 or something like that. But they sell it at the drugstore side at Ulta. They sell it at CVS. I think it's also at a Walgreens. But they have this, which is really nice. So I was like, well, I wonder if I can find other products that I really like. And I'm new to it, so why not try it? So this is $8. This was about $8-9 for the powder. And I've actually been using this, I think I've used it twice. And I actually really like it. And then I also picked up Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation. I think this is pretty full coverage from what I hear, and I've seen a few YouTubers use it. This is a UK brand, and they sell it at Ulta. As for anywhere else, I haven't really seen it too many places, but I figured I would pick this up too. This is found at Ulta. The Fit Me Maybelline is Walmart, Target, literally anywhere, which is also nice. It's easily accessible, as well as the, I'm dropping it, the Maybelline 24-Hour Foundation. You can find it at Walgreens. You can get it at Walmart, Target, which is really nice. And then I also picked up a Makeup Revolution, I think it's a stick foundation. Yes, fast-based stick foundation. I got it in the shade F14, but I figured I could use this as a nice, like, cream contour shade. So what else? Oh, and then I also snagged this. It's a K-Beauty inspired brand, and it's owned by the company Kiss. So if you've ever used those lashes from the drugstore, they, I guess, own this brand. And I think it's called Joah. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong in butchering this. It's spelled Joah right here, this guy. And this feels very heavy and actually somewhat, like, high-end. The sticker's sticking on me. No. So it has a nice pump to it, which is nice. It has a plastic cap, and it doesn't feel cheap at all. The plastic doesn't feel cheap. The bottle feels actually pretty heavy, but it's a K-Beauty inspired. So it is not actually a K-Beauty brand, but inspired, but it's a Blur Activator primer. It's infused with chamomile oil, and it says it's a mineral primer. So I figured I would try this, and I almost bought a ton, but I kind of just wanted to try a few things because this is all new to me. So I figured we can kind of just come up with the look. And I know I have like 2 foundations here and then 2 primers, but I figured at least with the primers, I will do like one on one side, one on the other, and then just use the same foundation, but use the stick. And then I'll have to insert some of my own makeup products that are not drugstore, like Tart or something like that, my other brushes, but for the most part this is new to me, and some of this is actually new to the drugstore. So this guy and this guy. And then this has been around for a while, and then Makeup Revolution has been getting a lot of hype in recent months in this past year. So it's new to me, so it fits for the video. So without that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the video. Kind of smells. Ew. Ooh, that smells really nice. Oh, it feels like very thick too. So sorry if I look off camera. I need to use my mirror. And I'm filming in a different spot today because I have a very busy schedule, and unfortunately I can't film at my can't film with my current setup, but we still, you know, the show must go on, you know? Oh, I got a little pimple on my head. So this feels very tacky, very sticky. Like, I don't know if you can, even if you can hear that. Which is really, really nice. I actually think I really like this. It feels almost like I'm sticking glue to my face. But we shall see. And kind of almost with using two primers, I guess I can kind of see which one I like more from the drugstore, or if I prefer one over the other. But it says it's a dew. It says dew primer, and it has literally no information on the tube whatsoever. And in the packaging, it didn't have anything except for this teeny little slip. And it just says apply evenly around the face, apart from ingredients, and just talking up the product. Oh, it has a unique gel texture that works like glue. Okay, well that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Blur Activator K-Beauty inspired primer. This almost looks like lotion. It feels like lotion. It feels very thin. It doesn't really have a scent, but this feels almost like the effect of Smashbox, like the primer, but without silicone. So that feels a little weird, but I like it. It almost feels, I don't know, like an oil, kind of like the residue, but it doesn't, but it's not oily. It's a weird primer. So my e.l.f. side feels pretty tacky, but this feels really, really weird. This primer also says shake well before use. I knew that. So shake before you use it. It's also cruelty free, which is kind of nice. And I can't believe it's owned by Kiss. I really do enjoy some of their Lash. Anywho, so I hope I got a good shade. This might almost seem a little dark. It looks kind of dark, but when I was trying to just test out colors really quick, it might be a little dark. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe. Possibly. Well, you know what? We're going to make it work. The applicator, though, is a little different for me. I typically like the pump, but you know what? This will work. It almost smells like paint, like low-key. Well, we'll start with that. I got the shade F10. Now I'm like in between, like my hands or like my chest is pretty dark, and then my face, since I clean it and exfoliate it, it will be pretty light compared to my body. So this feels pretty thin compared to the Maybelline, the Superstay. But I'm just going to use a little bit here and take it all over the face and see if it actually makes a difference. And you can still see like my beauty mark through makeup. And it kind of feels watery, like very thin. Like it's not a very thick consistency. But it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. But compared to what I'm used to, that's a little different for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit more on. Ugh. This literally smells like paint to me. Not overpowering, but it just smells like paint. Well, I feel like maybe this foundation doesn't entirely match. This is very liquidy, and I'm not like a super big fan of that. And it's not, doesn't seem to me to be super full coverage. But you shall see how this holds up. Like on camera, it looks fine. I mean, kind of. I mean, I don't know. So, I'm gonna go use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This is obviously not drugstore, but this isn't a full face of drugstore, so keep that in mind. I know I look a little crazy right now, but I promise you this will make me beautiful. Alright, so now that I've got my concealer blended out, my face is still kind of like, you know, dewy, it's not set. I'm going to take my Makeup Revolution foundation stick in the shade F14, and it seemed doable, but I really need new contour, a new cream contour product is what I really want. I had the Anastasia, and it's kind of just sat in the box, you know? And I probably need to replace the pans in my palette for the cream contour palette, but just haven't done it because I want to try something else. Okay, that felt really creamy. Let's see how this even works. So I'm gonna take my Morphe setting spray. It's the one that I have, like, oh, look at that. My Morphe setting spray, it's the one that I just kind of have with me. I'm just gonna lightly spritz so it has a little bit of wetness to it, and then I'm gonna buff it out. Wish me luck. This is pretty dark. Just blend it in, man. This actually seemed intimidating at first. Now that it's kind of buffing out really nicely, I think I'm loving this. Wow, I look very sculpted. That is a nice chiseled jaw. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of this foundation and just kind of blend it in and smooth out a little bit where I may have put too much. Okay, looking pretty bronze. So I'm going to take my Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder here. I have it in 05, which is Fair Clair. So I'm just going to take my sponge again, and then I'm just going to start setting out the bake, y'all. And then under the eyes, man, and the sides of the nose. Now, I hear good things about this powder, and in the 2 times that I've used it to see if I kind of like it, so far not bad. I think my only complaint is maybe I should get a lighter shade, just a little bit. It's very, very hard to pick out your stuff at the store when there are no testers. I'm going to take my Sephora brush right here, that magnetic brush, just a dome-shaped brush, and I'm just going to kind of brush the top part in a little bit and let the rest of my face kind of bake. And since this is pretty light compared to my skin, just, you know, guessing, they didn't have a translucent powder. I think that's my second complaint. There's no translucent powder in the Maybelline Fit Me, so I try to get one that would be somewhat close to that in a way. Or have the same effect, I guess. I'm going to take my non-drugstore bronzer here, my Marc Jacobs Omega Bronzer in Omega Bronze or Coconut Perfect Tan. There's too many phrases and words down there for me to actually figure out what it's called. but I'm just gonna kind of help this set. I'm just gonna use my Marc Jacobs bronzer here to help set that bronze, or the contour part, and help bronze. And then I'm gonna jump into my Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer right here. It's slightly darker. It's in the shade Rich Amber, same brush. I'm just gonna use that on the outer part of my cheek, like right here, just to give it a little bit more depth. So you kind of just sculpts ever so slightly. So I'm gonna take my Kylie blush, the only blush I carry with me, and we're going shopping. Same brush, and put on some blush. Alright, so now that I've got my blush on, one of my favorite highlighting tricks is to take my Hourglass Ambient Light Powder in the shade Luminous Light here, and I apply it onto the high points of where I would normally highlight. So, like the temples up here. So if I highlight like a normal highlighter right here, and then I put this on, and then I put a normal highlighter on top, it'll make it very intense. And then if I put just the ambient light powder, say right up here on the temple, it'll give it that light shine, but not be super overpowering with a highlight. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist right here and just spray my face, just to lock everything in. Take my Boudoir fan. That was a little much, I know, I don't care. So now I am going to do my brows. I'm just going to take my Anastasia Dip Brow here in dark brown, like normal, and take it on my Sephora Dual brush right here. It's a dual-sided brush. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my brows, and then we're going to come right back for like everything else, I guess. Brows are on. I think I did them a little thinner than I normally would. So I'm actually just going to take some of my Honest Beauty Magic Beauty Balm, which technically is also a drugstore, and it's new to me, so this counts. It's just this little guy right here, just like this. It feels really, really nice. I think this is about $12 as well, and I think they are now in Target, apart from being able to purchase them online. Okay, cool. Now that we have that on, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip eyeshadow since I didn't bring a drugstore palette, but I'm feeling kind of simple today. So I'm also going to take my Honest Beauty mascara right here. It comes with the primer on one side and a mascara on the other, and I think this is also $12. I could be wrong, but this is pretty affordable, and this is also now found at the drugstore. I believe at Target's, but nonetheless, I think some drugstores. So I'm going to take my primer and go ahead and just speed through this. Alright, so now that my primer is on, I'm going to let it set for just a sec before I go ahead and do my mascara. I'm going to take my Becca highlighter in Champagne Pop right here, and I'm going to take my Morphe brush that has absolutely no number or name, and that I have still yet to replace. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and apply it on my cheekbones, because I just want to glow a little bit, just a little more. Now that highlighter's on, I'm just going to take my Honest Beauty mascara and go ahead and just glide this right on. I think I'm just going to pop on some simple thin lashes. I'm going to take my Kiss Lash Glue, and then I'm going to take these lashes that I purchased a few days ago. They're very thin, kind of natural looking, just to give me a little bit more thickness to my lashes. And that's it. These are Kiss lashes. I, for the life of me, cannot remember what style they're in, but I go through these like air, so I'm sorry that I don't know the name. So I'm going to keep it applied on here and then just let it dry, place it, and then do the same thing to the other eye. And once they're both on, then we will come right back with final thoughts. Okay guys, so my lashes are on, and this completes the final look using the products that I had today, or using some new products. I did enjoy the Maybelline Fit Me powder. Granted, I probably should get a slightly darker shade, but I want a translucent kind of a feel where it kind of lightens everything up. My only issue with this is that there is no translucent shade, and that's kind of frustrating. But nonetheless, it performed good. I did enjoy this. I definitely enjoyed my Honest Beauty lip balm. I've been using this here and there, and technically this is considered a drugstore. It is clean makeup. It's cruelty-free. I think vegan, but at the very least, I know it's cruelty-free. Looks just like this. You can put it on your skin, you can put it on your lips, you can put it on just anywhere on your face, really. And gives you a slight dewy effect as well, but also hydrates, which is always a plus. So I did enjoy this. I enjoyed my Honest Beauty mascara, which I've been using a lot recently. I never used to use a primer for my eyelashes, but after this I kind of think I want to start, or at least I really like the formula of this, even though the applicator to me is a little but I do actually enjoy this mascara. So moving on to my two primers. I probably should have shook this up before I used it, but nonetheless it feels different. It feels like the Smashbox primer but without silicone, if that makes any sense. It's very soft and kind of oil feeling, but it doesn't leave an oily residue on your face or your skin, but it feels like there is. But I think I'm going to have to use this a few more times before I say I absolutely love it or do it all over the face. But I actually liked the consistency and the way this felt on my face. It feels like it's really going to stick product to it. So, and I did like the smell of this. And it's pretty affordable, even though this is just a few dollars more. This is 10, this is 8, I believe. I do kind of really like this. Kind of. Both are cruelty-free, by the way, so that's always a plus, and they're both affordable options at the drugstore. This was hard to find. You can buy it online, but I know Ulta sells it on the drugstore section. And this right here is sold at CVS. I'm not sure where else entirely yet, but I have not seen this at Walgreens. I know CVS does carry it. And then as for the Makeup Revolution products, I enjoyed using this as a contour bronzer type product. But it's a little dark. I'd probably go a shade or two lighter, but nonetheless it did buff out pretty nicely and didn't look too dark once everything was finished. But I definitely want to play around with this, but I do like the consistency of the product. And then as for the foundation, I don't know if I would go as far as to say full coverage like it says on the packaging. It lightweight smells like paint, nothing alarming or bad, but I'm not a super big fan how it like buffing it out and blending it out was, but it's not horrible. It's not bad. It's just I like a thick full coverage kind of foundation. Yeah, it smells like paint. But the applicator just looks like the Tarte Shape Tape foundation as well as the concealer. I think I would give this a few more tries before I say I hate it. Maybe get a shade or two lighter. But I don't like the fact that it smells like paint, and it's definitely not full coverage to me. But moving on from that, I think a good comparable drugstore foundation product is the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour full coverage foundation. This is full coverage. It is slightly thicker in consistency, like compared to a MAC Studio Sculpt foundation or a MAC foundation, where it's like a thick kind of a cream consistency. But this is really good for the price point and for the coverage, if that's something that's really up your alley. And then the lashes, I've used Kiss lashes, and I do enjoy drugstore eyelashes because I go through them like crazy. I bought a pair of Lily lashes, and those are like $30, which is like the style that everybody's obsessed with, so I figured I would try it. And I did like them. They were very fluffy. They felt very natural and real. But I was trying to pick off some of the like lash glue off the band and then just split the lash in half. That was $30. So I don't know if I would go that far to spend $30, even if I have the money. I don't know. I think it's easier to go with a lash band that's a little thicker, or other lashes that I've used in the past, like these ones. So they look kind of natural. The band is very thin. It's a little hard to kind of clean off the lash glue, just like Lily lashes, but nonetheless, they feel pretty comfortable on my eyes. Overall, that concludes the It's New to Me and It's New at the Drugstore video for the series for today. If you do enjoy today's video and you love my videos, or you just want to support me and my channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Always comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one, or maybe the next one in this series. We shall see.